Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. This is the meeting of the Boca Raton Airport Authority on Wednesday, April 19th, 2023. And just a reminder for everybody, we have a larger audience than usual, but just to remind you that this is being viewed live on YouTube. So the things that you say and are being recorded and will be shown live. So that's for everybody's information. And so the first order of business is the roll call. So if we can.
Mr. Now?
Here.
Mr. Tucker?
Here.
Bud? Here. Mr. Fogel?
I'm here.
Mr. Golden? Mr. Powers?
Here. Okay, for the record, we do have a quorum. First order of business is approval of minutes from the meeting of March 15th, 2023. You all had that in your board packet, so. Second. Okay, you have a motion and a second from Bob. Any comments, edits, corrections? Okay. We have a motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ms. Bennett, are there any agenda changes?
No, sir, there are.
All right, public requests. If any member of the public wishes to provide a comment on any item, the time to do so is now. Please complete a public comment card identifying the item on which you wish to be heard and to provide it to Ms. Landers. The public comment cards are located in the back of the room over here. Each member of the public wishing to comment will be provided with 5 minutes to do so. The chair reserves the right to move the public comment opportunity on a specific agenda item to the point in the agenda when that item is to be considered and or to extend the allotted time. So I do have one comment card. Are there any other comment cards? All right, this is Mr. J. Schapp. Mr. Schapp, are you, sir? Welcome. We'd ask, because we are recording, if you go up to the podium and your question or comment reveals that flight times are out of control. So, Mr. Schapp, if you'd introduce yourself and your address, that would help.
Good afternoon. My name is Joe Schapp. I am a homeowner for 20+ years. I live at 6180 North Dixie Highway, right directly in the flight path of New York Airport. Coincidentally, I grew up in upstate New York at the world's oldest flight airport in Brooksboro, New York. And I was born here, and I've been in the flight path of the gliders all my life. Okay, unmuffled, small engine Cessnas, waking me up to sunup, and of course, not at sundown. Took the guy's hand, bought a house here, didn't know I was in a flight path. Woke up the next morning and hear the jets coming and going, and the train was blowing. And okay, I'm happy to be here. It's a nice neighborhood. It's a great town. I've been involved with CERT, and I've learned a lot about your airport. You guys do a great job. I've been up in your tower, I've been over your runways. So kudos to you guys. It's well run, well maintained. And right now I'm bringing my issue because I feel it's personal, but a civil issue to everybody who lives in this town. In the past few years, since our president is no longer president, he has instilled major traffic in this airport. And it's gotten better now that Palm Beach is allowing planes to land there again. But for 4 years, it was hell, right? And everybody has gotten in the habit of coming in whenever they feel like it. And they violate their voluntary time limit rules of after 11 or 9 or whatever. Okay, I'm here today to beg you to try to enforce that, please. Okay, I can't change it like that. That has to be done by Metroplex. I'm fully aware how that's done, when it's done. They didn't listen to you guys. You begged them to turn and go off the railroad instead of coming over all over homes. So I'm stuck with it. But if you could make my life a little better, I would greatly appreciate your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Chef. We appreciate the comments, and I'm going to turn to our executive director, maybe just to comment on the record. We can meet with you at other times if that's good, but otherwise, maybe just give you a comment.
I spoke to Clara
Okay.
at length about what has been done with Metroplex, on where you guys have tried to speak out to solve the problem. And I'm aware of the rules, but I also spoke to Scott just now, and he said that maybe it's time to reinforce the voluntary rules with some of the newer pilots and let them know that they're disturbing the peace. And that's all we can do. All right, unless you want to set up a certain time to you can't close your airport. I understand that. Or maybe you can start finding planes that come in after hours. I can give you times and dates, and you figure out who they are and start writing letters. I'll be glad to keep track of them. They do it.
Yeah, we keep track of it. Thank you very much. Okay, I understand. You're just urging us to keep going. Understood. Thank you.
Appreciate
very much.
Thank you for doing what you do.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. You're free to stay if you would like.
Thank you. You need to understand how you're gonna play. But just do agree.
That's what. Thank you. Okay, consent agenda. Do we have any items on the consent?
No, we didn't.
And how about federal, state, municipal?
There is no.
Okay, so that brings us to the financial report. The presentation of March 2023 financial report. Our treasurer, Secretary Treasurer Randy Noble is not present, so I'm going to ask Robert Abbott to present the report.
That's good evening. So for you, you do have an updated financial report that was distributed. This is not the final financial report for the month of March. We still do not have full revenue numbers from Signature for the fuel, so we have decided it's best to table the actual financial report, and we'll represent it next month once we have a full picture of our revenue number. Everything else is finalized, but without that, I feel like it's probably best to take over.
Well, if I may clarify, Robert, I apologize. Our recommendation to the board would be to postpone the vote on the item until the final report can be produced.
Okay.
And for a date certain being the next board meeting. So sorry. Robert.
So you're saying it's so preliminary, there's no use in moving these numbers have changed significantly, so we'll wait until the next meeting.
Well, the only number that will change will be our revenue, so if you'd like, I could present the rest of it.
And these are estimates, right?
It's
Yeah,
up to board members, you want to hear some of the stuff. Sure. Okay. All right, whatever you have final, so
Yeah,
the
so,
revenues.
we have an estimate for our actual operating revenues, which is approximately $3.7 million, about 13% above budget for the state. Our total operating expenses are finalized, and that is $2.6 million, approximately 2.9%. And net income before depreciation is $694,000. So that's the current report that we have. Like I said, we'll present it again next month, final numbers.
Let's see, okay, so do I need a motion to table or table the final
Postpone.
approval of the
All motion.
this second March report until the next meeting?
Just to clarify,
Okay.
we're postponing, right?
Yeah, postponing,
Postponing, yes.
postponing, whatever word you want. Okay, I have a motion, a second, hearing no other comments. Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed. Okay, we'll get two financial reports. Thank you very much, yes. All right, tenant reports and requests, Atlantic Aviation special event request. And Hannah Oakland is going to present this issue. Hannah?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, BRAA is requesting approval from the authority to host a fundraising event next Friday evening benefiting the Boca Youth Foundation. The event will be held at Hangar 9 and Valley Service as well as security will be facilitated. There will be approximately 200 guests in attendance. So airport management recommends approval resolution of the Protocol 143 granting conditional approval to Atlantic Aviation for the special event on April 20th. And we also have considered moving in the audience if you have any questions.
Yes, okay, great. Any questions? Have a motion to approve this resolution 4/14/23.
So moved.
Bob?
I second, but I think it would be nice to hear from Ms. Lee if she does it fine.
Okay, of course.
Tell us a little bit about the event and what you're going to be doing and what your expectations are. It's a fundraising event, right? Great. Hope I didn't throw you off there.
We
Okay.
have a motion the second, so we'll hold up or me. If you would just introduce yourself and at the podium as well,
Okay.
because it is being recorded.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ann.
Good evening, I'm Debbie Levine, I'm the Executive Director of the Boca Raton Police Foundation. On Friday, April 28th is our call for backup party. As mentioned, you're at the BRAA hangar. And it's sort of a mission moment. We bring out all of our police vehicles. We have a mobile command unit, the dive truck, the bomb truck. We're also going to have a demonstration of our campaigns. And we're going to have the bomb robots also out there. And it's a silent auction, live auction, it's cocktail party. It's a chance for our guests to mix and mingle and talk to our police officers and our special teams. Really a chance to see them in that atmosphere and see the police department and, you know, sort of like away from any sort of an emergency kind of situation. And the just was obviously curious, but up there will, talk to all of our guests. Hopefully be very successful. So we've been doing it for 6 years now. For those of you who don't know, the Boca Raton Police Foundation raises money for Boca Raton Police Department. And we raise money for training, equipment, and technology, also community outreach and retired canine assistance.
Great, fantastic. Any questions? Yes.
I just
sure.
would like to make a comment. I've been to at least one, maybe two, and they are so interesting, so much fun. To see the police in action, we're proud of you now, but once you see this, you will just be over the moon. So if you have an opportunity to go, it really is worthwhile.
And I will be going because I'm a proud member of Debbie's board on the Police Foundation. She,
Look at that, didn't even know that.
She-
because of
she
the
does.
direction that you do so well, right?
I'll be going.
she does a great job and it is a wonderful event. And do you have a goal on how much do you want to net from this event?
Well, we typically, this is the second year we've been able to do a live auction, which is something we're so grateful for it, but it still allows us so much space that we can actually conduct something like this. We had a little screen set up there too. So we're hoping about $100,000 spent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which
Terrific.
is significant for us because, you know, our organization is different from some trial organizations or animal organizations, you know, you have a specific sort of guest, you know, who wants to come and support law enforcement, so. For us, so we're not those organizations that raise $500,000 for you.
Yeah.
Today,
Did I see you?
No,
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. It's great. Best wishes to you. So all in, I have a motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Oh, yeah.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Good luck with your event. That's fantastic.
Thanks, Debbie.
Okay, next up is the noise abatement operations summary for the month of February. Again, Hannah Oakland will make the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before you is the operations and noise abatement report for the month of March of 2023. During the month of March, there were 7,931 operations, which is 19% more than operations in March of last year. Jenny deliveries were down 51% compared to March of 2022. NACA deliveries were down 24% compared to last March, and please note that these numbers do not include signatures from the number. There were 9 different households that filed noise concerns during the month, most of which were through our online mail portal. During the month of March, Customs had 262 aircraft clearings, which is up from 232 clearings March of 2022. There was only 1 vessel clearing as well for the month. And they arrived from and there were 77 after hours clearings for the month. With 5 recurring days for the facilities normally closed. And that concludes the operations report for the month. We have any questions?
Any questions on the report? So that's a big jump, 20, almost 2%.
Oh, great.
Traffic, huh?
I have a question just on maybe on operations in general, maybe Scott. Given what happened at the FLL or Lardell last week and with the flooding.
That was in your storm.
And just it's obviously 25 inches in 6 hours is going to flood a lot. But if that kind of situation were to happen here, what kind of mitigation?
Well, we have had some very heavy rains in the past where we have seen ponding in certain areas, particularly certain ramp entrances and taxiways. We numberly had it happen to the runway since I've been here. We are quite a bit higher than FLL, so that does help us a little bit. And we have done significant drainage improvements over the last few years. And I know Atlantic's planning to do some of that with their project as well, which will help us. But we do see some impacts. It usually drains off pretty quickly. That amount of rain probably would be very impactful, but we're fairly fortunate from what we've experienced so far.
And if I may as well, Mr. Tucker, in our master plan that's currently underway, we're about 2/3 of the way through that master plan. There is a segment of the plan that is includes a stormwater master plan. So as Scott mentioned, about 3 years ago, we completed some improvements to the drainage system on the approach end of runway 5 that helped move the water well. And so as part of this study, we'll be doing a comprehensive master plan for stormwater. But to your point, 20-something inches in that number, it's going to be difficult. But we're also happy to report that we did get a lot of rain, but airport roads seem to do quite well last week, right, Travis? Which is a relatively new project, as you may remember. So
Yes, no, and FLL, the North Runway, which flooded, goes back to almost to the beginning of the airport. So when we built the new ultra long South Runway a few years ago, it's raised. You notice they had through the whole storm, that runway is flooded all.
It was just, I mean, watching the video, like I think I watched a JetBlue plane come in. I mean, the water was up to the wheel. I mean, and who knows what it was rolling
Year
over,
storm.
to get to the gate. I mean, that could have been really catastrophic.
Yeah, still crazy.
Any other questions for him? Okay, thank you very much. That report. Next item is 9B, the observation area project contract award. And Bob, you're gonna make some comment?
Sure. Well, I'm sure most of us remember the quite robust discussion we had a couple of years ago, particularly about the fabric that I think Gene in particular. But it's been, 2 or 3 years since then. And we had a couple of holdups because of some site issues with the FAA. But I'm happy to report that we've completed the procurement process. That happened 2 weeks ago. And we appreciate the help of Carlton Harrison, Deputy Director of Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, which already has an observation area. And Mr. Shaw was Simply Strategic, who is an engineer and a subject matter expert, for their help on the qualifications evaluation committee. So we've got Claire now to provide some additional details on the committee's rankings and recommendations.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Tucker. Yes, we're very excited to finally be at this stage of the project. In response to the request for qualifications for this progressive design build firm to complete the design of the project, we received 2 responses. Both were qualified bidders. And the selection committee ranked RDC, Recreational Design and Construction, number 1. It was, again, both were great, but RDC has a tremendous amount of experience specifically with the tensile fabric. That was a matter of a lot of robust discussion a couple of years ago. So just as a quick reminder, the observation area will go next door to right outside my window. This is the general look that we're working towards. It's going to be a really interesting, I think, design and shape. And we, as part of our process, completed a 30% design. So RGC's task is to finalize the engineering sets and then come back to us with a guaranteed maximum price. So this is broken up into 2 phases. Phase 1 is finalizing the design, working off of this concept and the 30% plans that we completed, and finalizing it, getting it to 60, and then 100% with a guaranteed maximum price. As I mentioned, RDC has a tremendous amount of experience in South Florida, dozens and dozens of projects. They've got almost 30 years in business. I just picked up the many projects that they presented to us as part of the qualifications evaluation committee review. I just picked 2 because these are sort of projects that we're familiar with. In fact, when we looked at the tensile fabric, this was one of the examples that we had looked at. This is the Pompano Beach Amphitheater. As you can see, it's about a $3.5 million project. And the other project was the shade structures for the curbs at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. Again, RDC is proposing for phase 1 a lump sum fee of $92,900, which is well within the engineer's estimate. And this should say complete construction. I apologize for the typographical error. Phase 2 will be complete construction. We will have that guaranteed maximum price as the design progresses per the specifications of the contract. Mr. Joe Cerrone with RDC is here. If you have any questions specifically of Joe and Mr. Cerrone about the qualifications of the firm or the project, the process. Right now, the schedule is showing us completing this project at a substantial completion in December, which is our target date.
And how many bidders did you have? Maybe you said that earlier.
We received 2 responses,
Two
but it was
responses.
done as a request for qualifications process, as opposed to a traditional design build process.
Anybody have any questions either for Ms. Bennett or would like to hear from the contractor? Or hearing none, I'm looking for a motion on number resolution 4/15/23.
Public comment?
Move.
Okay, got a motion?
Second.
And second, sure. Okay, any other questions or comments?
So the environmental part of this, Claire, with the burrowing owls and the gopher tortoises, right? So that's like a separate deal that's happened, I mean, a separate contract?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we have as part of our design team, we have of course, Recondo and Associates, who are our general consultant, and they have a sub-consultant, which is a company that specializes in environmental mitigation, Miller Legg, and they also do engineering and civil engineering and other forms of engineering. I have a lot of experience with them in my previous work at a different airport in environmental mitigation, and they also happen to be the firm that provides mitigation services, environmental oversight for Florida Atlantic University at the reserve area immediately adjacent to our property. So they are very familiar with the area. They will be conducting the permitting, any permitting that's required to address and take care of the owls and the gopher tortoises.
Great. Any other comments or questions? Okay, we have a motion on 4/15/23 for contract with Recreational Design and Construction Inc. For the observation area. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimously carries. Best wishes to you. Congratulations. Way to go. Okay, next up is our 75th anniversary campaign. This is item 9C. And Cheryl Bud, we're gonna use help on this, so if you could introduce it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, just as we like to celebrate anniversaries in our lives, right? Your wedding anniversary of your being with a particular company, we do have a big anniversary coming up. And those of you who have been on the board and associated with us for some time know that we had a nice 70th anniversary 5 years ago, but 75th is a really, really big number. So in January, we awarded a contract after looking at several very qualified. In fact, I think I shared last time when I talked about how we had awarded the contract that we kind of thought we had it all planned. And then Garth comes in and we said, well, you know what, let's just reconsider what we're doing. So we feel very comfortable and confident with Garth. They have an aggressive program that Claire is going to tell us about it. And I think some of your representatives are here to talk us through it as well. One of the elements of the program is, again, harking back to that 70th, this is a book we put together at that time. And most of the concept here was to look at the past, the history. At the time, we were really trying to put our mark in the community and demonstrate, here's what we've done, here's the commitment we've made, and we have real value here. I think we did that with this book, but now what we are going to be doing when we get to this particular project that everyone will be talking about and others in just a minute, it is the present and the future, what we're looking for in the future. And that indeed is part of the theme, I think, going forward. So with that, I'll turn it over to Clara and perhaps to Garth as well. Absolutely.
Thank you, Ms. Bud. Yes, this is an exciting year for us. As Ms. Bud mentioned, we did a sort of a 70th anniversary celebration light, if you will. It was really important for us to be out in the community and share with the community what we think is an incredibly interesting, fascinating history of the airport, going all the way back to the mid-1930s, to then, of course, the tremendous impact that this facility played during World War II when it became the Army Air Station Boca Raton Air Base. And after the war, our relationship, of course, in helping to attract general aviation activity into Boca Raton and our role in helping to facilitate Florida Atlantic University. So it's really important for us share that, that history with the community. So we did quite a few things then that highlighted that, including the coffee table book. And this year, we really wanted to kind of elevate that messaging. Yes, touch upon the history a little bit because you can't get away from that. It's an anniversary, but really focus on the impact that the airport has today as an employment center, its economic impact, our relationship with key stakeholders, our relationship with the nonprofit community, the schools as a training facility, et cetera. And then also, what are we looking at in the future? How do we position the airport to be a catalyst for innovation and to attract new and emerging technologies here into Boca Raton in partnership with some of the universities, the Research Park, and others in the private sector. So Garth understood that message. They heard us loud and clear and have helped us frame that message. And they've outlined with Ms. Budd and with us a campaign that started immediately when they took over in January, that took over this engagement. And we've had several activities that we've done so far and things that we are planning for the rest of the year. So as we had mentioned in our last meeting when we did our quarterly update, we didn't want to get too far down the road with the 75th without actually getting more input from you and the rest of the board members, if you had any that you would like to share with us. So we invited Garth to come and give you a thorough, outline of what what we've done and what we're planning for the rest of the year. So I'd like to turn it over to Melissa, who is going to walk you through the presentation.
Great. Thank you, Clary. Thank you, Melissa. If you could just introduce yourself for us, that'd be great for the record.
Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melissa Christie with BRAA Solutions. I'm joined by my team members, Brandon, Yvonne, and Inaris. And we are very excited to provide you with an update of the marketing and PR activities that have been underway for the last 90 days to improve our plans for the 75th anniversary. Just to tell you how we got here, we mobilized on day one. We had our official kickoff meeting on January 20th, and then collaborated closely with Clara and her team to get onboarded, to get up to speed with the current marketing programs, to transfer assets and do all of that. We also worked very quickly to start producing materials to support the ongoing marketing needs of the airport, press releases, items for social media and its support. And we also embarked on an intensive strategic planning process to develop a plan for the 75th anniversary. We have put together a very short package to show you some of what has been going on. But as we know, the bulk of this year's marketing activity will be focused on the 75th anniversary campaign. We undertook a very intensive strategic planning process in a condensed time period in close collaboration with Clara and her team and with invaluable guidance from Cheryl. We defined 4 key stakeholder groups, established goals and objectives, as well as themes and messaging for the campaign, and developed a set of strategic initiatives, which ultimately culminated in a implementation plan and action plan that we are very excited to talk to you about today, but also very proud to be able to execute over the rest of the year. As Cheryl alluded to, the theme is focused on the past, present, and future.
So we will tell a short story about the airport's history. We will showcase the impact the airport has in the present and also highlight the airport's role in the future. We developed a number of strategic initiatives that will be executed over this year. The ones highlighted in blue are already in active planning or early implementation, and we're going to walk you through some of them today. We started with the development of promotional assets, starting with branding, a logo, updating some of the current marketing materials. We are also developing standalone marketing materials to support the campaign, as well as giveaway items that will be used over the duration of the promotional campaign. The campaign will feature an ambassador program. Ambassadors will be select individuals who are excited about and want to show support for the airport. We are going to be able to tap into that to have them help us share the message with their audiences. Each ambassador will receive a toolkit with standardized messaging, key talking points, pre-prepared materials that they can share on their platforms, such as social media posts. They will also receive swag items and promotional merchandise that they can wear, take pictures of, and share. The commemorative coffee table book, the 75th anniversary version, will be the continuation in the series. So it will build on what was done for the 70th, and it will follow the campaign's theme of past, present, and future. It will be produced both physically and digitally. The physical version will be a limited print. It will be a special gift, like a collector's item. The digital version will be more interactive than it was in the past. So for example, you can click into the picture and read stories. And this will also be supplemented by a video featuring testimonials from staff members, tenants, and key partners. We also have in development a campaign website portal, which will live on your existing website and will be a hub for all things 75th anniversary. It will include an interactive timeline, event announcements and updates, as well as resources and downloads for our ambassadors and the media. The mural wall arts project will see a mural erected on a portion of your masonry wall. The mural will also be reflective of the campaign's theme of the past, present, and future of the Boca Raton Airport. We are currently in discussion with a few artists, and we will be releasing an official call to artists to select the artists that will erect the mural. The project will also be supplemented by a making of the video, which will feature the artist's work from concept to implementation, and this will be used for promotion in the media as well as in the arts community. During the 75th year, we will be participating in events with varying levels of connection to the 75th anniversary. Tier 1 events are events that are already on the calendar and will be supported by branding and maybe promotional materials. Partner events will feature a campaign related execution. For example, if we participate in the 4th of July, or booth will be 75th anniversary themed. The events we want to focus on today are the tier 3 events or campaign specific themed events. We're envisioning 3 for late fall into winter. The cocktail event will be your standout event, your main celebratory event for the 75th anniversary campaign. It will be an invitation only event for your dignitaries, your key stakeholders. We're envisioning this as an event held in a hangar here and something that will be made really special. We're also looking to partner with or educational partners, universities, BRAA, and aviation partners to host a TED Talk type event focused on the future of aviation. And the events will be capped off, the 75th anniversary campaign will be capped off by a more community-centered event celebrating the opening of the observation area, whether in late December or January.
Here you can see a timeline of when each initiative is expected to happen. The items in blue are already in dark blue and already underway. And with that, I will open for questions and ask Brandon and Winners to join me for any questions.
Okay, questions on the list, Bob?
First question, I'm just kind of unclear on the exact timing here. So is there a exact date? And is it in December when the airport was what is are we talking about a year or a month or an exact date?
There's an exact date that the airport was transferred, which was December 28th, 1948,
All right, so then so we turned 75 on that date.
on that specific.
So what we're talking about here is stuff leading up to the 75th, right? And then there will be things that happen following that in the 75th year itself. So in 2024.
Mhm.
So we're just talking about things though now that
Leading
lead
to,
up to that.
correct.
So we'll maybe have another plan next year or more activations or.
Well, let's put it this way, a lot of the things that you see here will have a long tail.
Right.
So for instance, if you put a video up, it gets posted in Q4,
Right.
that's up for the duration. So the big bang is in Q4. There will be little bangs Q3, big bang Q4, kind of deployment and use of all those assets that have been created, correct me if I'm wrong here, through the actual year.
Gotcha.
So,
And part of the challenge with that is the timing,
Right.
is that it is right around the holidays.
Right.
As
Yeah.
if it were March 28th, it
Right.
would be a
Right.
little easier to execute. So inherently, there will have to be bleed over into the following year, which is why we kind of lead into it.
The-
one of the things, let me just interject, if it's answering your question as well. As I said at the beginning, this is a very aggressive plan to see all these things to come to fruition, Q3 or Q4. So I think that we are going to be flexible on some of these timings. For instance, to have a date in the sand that we are going to celebrate on December 28th, that's not very smart, is it? Because look at your calendar, mine's already got things for December, whether it's your own personal travel or the mayor, whatever else it is.
Right.
It's a really bad space to try to make a statement in. So we will do these things, but we're going to be flexible all the time.
Good.
And so that, again, that's why we wanted to have an opportunity to hook into events that are already in place, things the city is already doing, that others are already doing, and then look at our timing for, well, when is it going to be all about us? So that's the little piece that we might have some flexibility with.
Great. I love the idea about brand ambassadors here and this kind of informational kit. I would add civic groups to the list here, like Kiwanis and Rotary clubs. Those places are always looking for lunch speakers because if you don't, then it's, one of the members talking about their trip to China. And it's always good just to
That's a great idea.
have that. Yeah. So there's, I think, 4 Rotary clubs in Boca Raton alone. So that would be a good one. I was glad to hear that the coffee book table is kind of taking on another purpose, which I think that's a really, really great idea. So then for budget, was there an increase in budget for this to handle all this? And then what about just more community engagement things? So like what we do with FAU and the game, and is there other types? And I know we're doing a big deal for the 4th of July, but have we identified some other community events like that might still be within budget where we can maybe program once a month or something? So we got something in July, something in October, do a little bit more of that following the success of those events, because we know that those have been good for us. We've done it during non-anniversary years. Maybe we can do some more in addition to that if we have the budget.
I think that's a great idea. This year, we had plugged in some additional funding in our budget. So the great part of the one really good part of this year is this campaign is that it traverses budget years. So for the remainder of our, for the next couple of months, while we're developing a budget that we present to you, in August, we can take that into account.
Oh, yeah.
Because the new budget year will be October 1. So for things like the marquee events, the cocktail party, concept, the event at the observation area, that actually be in next year's budget. So we can really be thoughtful about whether we need, how much funding we might need. And if we decide to add some additional events that lead into 24, then we have a couple of months between now and budget approval to do that.
Just add, but apropos of Bob's suggestion, maybe we also include in our bag of tricks here, a standing dog and pony show that is designed for civic organizations, all about celebrating the 75th. So maybe you can take some of the assets that you're already developing, but just as you did a nice little intro video just to tell us what you've done, something like that to tell the audience about the 75th. It's tactile, it's interesting, it shows different things. And then if Clara or Scott or anyone goes to the Rotary or whatever, they don't have to write a speech and then and this is our brochure, and be sure to come to our event. They get up, they introduce it, they show it, it's great, it's wonderful, it's professional. Take some questions, sit down. And again, so that's an easy way to touch an awful lot of organizations that it'll take some time, but
That's a great idea, and that's something that the ambassadors can use.
could do, yeah. You take the high level ones,
And we have some individuals that we've identified, but I see a lot of new faces in this group here today. So if anyone would like to be an ambassador, this is, let us know. I'm actually thinking, Mr. Schaap might be a good one because he has a lot of history. So, but yeah, I think that that's a great idea of having part of the toolkit include like on a thumb drive, that's sort of a canned presentation that people can use, make it easy for them. And we actually, I have, just want to say, we had talked to some people about being ambassadors and they are very excited about it. So they're waiting for these deliverables, including one individual who took some of our giveaways on a trip to Jamaica and posted with our giveaways while she was in Jamaica. So we certainly want to empower her with a lot of stuff. So I think she's going to be great. A good friend, Sherry.
Great. Any other questions or comments? It's good discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you, Melissa. Thanks to your team as well. Appreciate that very much. All right, next item is number 9, the airport project update. And Travis Bryan, you're going to update us on all the things going on around the airport grounds. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to go ahead and preface this with my PowerPoint skills are nowhere near that we just thought witness. What's the schedule side? If that's okay.
Double our expectations, huh?
Yeah, I appreciate have lower expectations. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and do this quickly. I know people have to concentrate. Just a quick rundown that's in everyone's packet. We'll start with just some of the finishing touches on the airport road beautification project. Already heard for the beginning of the year, the entry wall features were installed at all the entrances that could house them. This is some of the construction photos of them getting placed. The first one with boomers, it's kind of a test bed. Everything appeared to go fairly well other than the weather. Some of the finished looking products and some of the now that the gap in the middle is filled with the decorative fencing they have. Looks sorry, I had another one in there. Another portion of the beautification project is the monument signs. We've rebid again, and that bid closes tomorrow. Thankfully, we've already received 3 sealed bids and hope to receive hopefully more. There's a couple other firms that indicated they were excited about bidding on it. So hopefully, as of tomorrow afternoon, we'll actually get some traction on some monument signs going. Another project that's currently happening now, security enhancements, phase 4. One of the highlights is we're adding cameras to view Airport Road and some of the other places from the highest vantage point that we own, at least on that side of the airport, the Beacon Tower. This project also encompassed replacement of every camera around the airport that we own, in addition to approximately a dozen extras in locations we had previously had them. One of the extra additions they come out with since the last time was a 360-degree view that looks everywhere, in addition to a hand-tilt zoom. So we're looking forward to finishing up that project, actually seeing what our new view will be of all the gates and entryways. other things, we're also gonna have, we installed a few in customs too, so we get a little better idea. Customs has their own cameras over there that we're responsible for, but we can't see them. We installed a few of our own, help better see who's coming and going over there. And some of the projects here aren't that very picturesque, because a lot of it's underground, pulling fiber optic cable and manholes and other things. That's not something that needs really slideshows, but the next project we'll touch on real quick is currently occurring as well as a tower radio communication upgrade. Again, nothing real snazzy and beautiful photos wise, it's the direct equipment replacement, but new antennas for all the radios, new communication equipment, new touchscreens. Here's just some of the kind of during photos. The top couple radios were the old ones, the bottom ones, the two new ones before they replaced the other two. So basically all new cabling, touch screens upstairs, the controllers, new handsets, microphones, antennas, what have you. We've already had some positive comments that there's less bleed over and people here further out than they used to, because the antenna.
And more reliability is what I heard when we were.
Reliability and this equipment has not survived 20+ lightning season like the other stuff, so we hope this one will fight off a little more. Another project we have currently going on, didn't put a slide, but I'll just touch on real quick, is the NAVAs, airfield lighting and signage. We awarded the contract previous board meeting to High Power LLC in the March meeting. They're a local firm we've worked with before, and they work with many other airports. Replace every single light, sign, and bit of underground cabling for the airfield itself. We're going with all LED technologies that hopefully got electricity use, hopefully by at least a third. And also, once again, that's on reliability. Less for our team to be out there changing bulbs, because there's no more bulbs to change. So we'll touch on the next one real quick. This one's not quite open to the public yet, but we've been doing a lot of beta testing in the background, our safety management system program. We've been working with our contractor, Epic Engineering, who developed an entire basically app and web page for us. We're now doing all of our inspections through them and can initiate safety management system. And for any safety items we have, we've been doing also initiate a survey to tenants. We've got some positive responses back that we're incorporating into the software. And hopefully, if all the bugs get worked out, we plan on going live in May of this year to actually have a tenant response portal on our website. So anyone can potentially report any hazard they may come across, whether it be airport road, something they notice in the airfield, or even just make a comment or suggestion that we can utilize that software and respond to, or initiate a full SMS program if it's an actual safety hazard. So hopefully a few more bugs worked out. We're looking forward to programming it. That's kind of stretched out a little bit, and I apologize, but that's on our website currently is just kind of what's coming and what the program entails, safety assurance, safety promotion, who's accountable, ourselves, what have you. And hopefully once that goes live, we'll have a little bit better idea of kind of what to show you. If there's actually some meat, you can click the button kind of thing on the website. Don't have any other slides, anything else, just a quick touch on other things. And Claire mentioned we're currently going through the master plan process. Board's been through the board workshop and several advisory committee meetings and tenants, and we also have a special meeting scheduled on April 25th with the Boca Pilots Association to discuss the master planning process with them and go forward with that. I won't touch too much on the observation area because I already kind of know where that's going. Hopefully, if we get everything accomplished for that on our scheduled date. And last but not least, the admin improvements. I think all the board's familiar with kind of the initial design and what we had in mind. Unfortunately, we put it out to bid, and the bid closed on April 7th with no bidders. That was kind of surprising to us because we thought it'd be a pretty easy and enticing project. So we decided to extend the bid for an additional 30 days and try to find possibly some other interested parties. And according to some of the responses from the request for information we've had, like they come across the desk, is at least one, if not two, hopefully interested parties asking them questions again. So that's set close. Yeah, don't know if it's necessarily big enough for some of the really big companies to really want to jump off on at the moment, but hopefully it'll entice someone there. One of the people that have actually shown interest in the original constructors, so they're familiar with it. So hopefully we can see some traction on that.
Thank you, Travis. Questions, Sheriff?
Two questions, please. this probably isn't an airport beautification road question, but it's a beautification road question. As I turned in to come to the meeting today, I noticed flowers and landscaping as I made my right-hand turn. That's not part of our project, is it? I assume it's FAU.
This,
right? Or wrong?
that, yes, they're beautiful, aren't they? This
Yeah.
is the research park. This is the new owner of the lease, PEB group, I believe they're called, and they've been, and also you notice the painting.
Yeah.
They're doing a great job of enhancing the research park,
Good.
with Andrew Duffel over there.
Wonderful. Okay, my next question has to do with the Boca Pilots Association, whom you mentioned. They are clearly one of our key audiences, our key partners in success here. And we have, at least during my tenure, but particularly in the last couple of years, made a very concerted effort to have open communication, to have people from our organization represented there. Can you just summarize for us over the last year or so, the type of interaction that you have had with them? Because it's my understanding that it is fairly regular, and we certainly want to keep those lines of communication open. So please.
Happy to. I am a regular attendee of the monthly Pilot Association meetings at the community center.
And for how long has that been?
A little over a year now, I believe, at least.
Okay.
Card carrying member,
Okay.
and we also sponsor, I believe about quarterly their food for some of the meetings, including the holiday breakfast that they have over signature every year. We've done that for the past 2 years.
Okay.
And I try to make every meeting I can just to field any questions, or if something such as the master plan process is coming up. I actually been planning on doing a full presentation on the master plan process at the January meeting, and the previous speaker that was scheduled ahead of me ran fairly long, and we ran out of time. So I was not able to do that. So I have not made the past couple meetings that they've had, because I have been actually taking the certification course at FAU. That's in Stevens. So I plan on.
So
going
you
back.
are going to talk about the master plan?
I was on the agenda.
But are you going to have you had the opportunity or going to do that?
We had scheduled a special meeting in this building, in this
Okay.
room, to discuss just that
Okay.
with Rosano and Associates.
Super.
No, I'm a member of Boca Pilots, and
Yeah,
I've
I
been
know.
for 100 years. And
They're only.
almost 100 years. And I've been representing us there,
Good.
as has Travis. And Travis has really cut the noise down.
Good.
Because he hits them with the facts. He answers their questions. And the reason we're having that special meeting here, April 25th, well, I'll be here, is because they had a speaker who ran very long, and
Mhm.
we ran out of time, so we're very much on top of it,
Yeah.
and Vocal Pilots is basically supportive of us.
Good, good, because we are of them, so it's.
Oh,
important
and they know that. I
have
mean,
that
I go to every
relationship.
meeting.
Good.
And then some.
Any other questions? Travis, I had one, how many cameras do we have? You said, talk about all the cameras.
Right off the top of my head, when they finally did finish installing all of them, they count the 3 stations and the PTVs as one unit, so we're adding approximately a dozen, so we should be upwards of 40 camera locations.
We don't generally go into a lot of detail in a public meeting about our security
Yeah.
program
It's like-
there.
That's-
We'd be happy to give you,
Yeah.
be happy to give you a one-on-one briefing.
I'm sorry.
Show you where they all are.
Chair.
That is one of the.
Too much information.
TMI.
I'll just be careful. I know. We're back.
Here, you would have, yes, but no, we don't, this is one of the few things that is actually exempt from public record, but it's robust and they're new, and this is a grant funded project.
That's all I.
It's like your Rockwell song. Someone is watching
Someone
you.
is. Sorry. about
Okay,
that.
thank you. Any more discussion? Okay, Travis, thank you very much for your report. Okay, item 9E, Boca Raton Airport Authority Enabling Act update. And Scott can handle it. Scott, go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The bill passed its last House Committee stop a week ago Tuesday. That was the full State Affairs Committee. It was passed unanimously. The next step is that it's likely to be added to the expedited bill calendar in the House, which is all the local bills and non-controversial bills that get voted on in one vote. At which point it will go to the Senate. The Senate has a similar procedure. They'll take all the local bills that no one has any discussion points about, vote them on as one. And then they get transmitted to the governor's office once they're enrolled. And if they're transmitted during session, he has 7 days to sign, veto, or let it go into action without a signature. If it's after the session closes, he'll have 15 days to do so. And our bill would take effect upon becoming law, which would be basically with his signature. So, and the last day of session is May 5th. So hopefully we'll have some very good news to report at the next session. Oh, and I'd also like to point out that our lobbyist, Chris Lyons, has met twice separately with the governor's office. He's received no negative feedback yet, so we're not expecting any surprises after it passes the full House and the Senate, but he's definitely in contact with this, the governor's office, and we'll keep everyone posted.
Thank you. Sure, good.
Just a quick question, do we talked about this, Clara, a plan B in the event that any particular item that is listed within that proposal is objectionable? So there are several actionable items in there, right, from our many. If one of them is the reason that it is not being signed, it is not going forward, do we have, or are we in position to have a fallback position with our lobbyists where we authorize him a priori that says, if you need to take out item A, C, D, F, what, you know, whichever ones we are willing to give up in return for the signature, in other words, that will get us through, that he has the authority and ability to do that.
He does, and we have actually had to do that at the first committee stop. There was the clause about telephonic participation counting towards quorum. That was an issue
Right.
for the chair of that committee. Claire, myself, and the chair spoke with them. We all agreed, yep, go ahead, take it out. So it has been amended once. There were no further amendments to it. All the committees were fine with it. We're not expecting any in the Senate. Now, once it passes the House and the Senate and is transmitted, there's no opportunity at that point to make any further changes. So if there's any one issue that the governor would have an issue with, he has the opportunity to veto it, and it's try again next
So
year.
as long as it gets, so we can amend up to the point of going to the governor's desk.
Correct.
The governor looks at it and says, oh, you guys missed item C, which I'm unhappy with, then we're getting the water until next year.
And we'd have to refile, be
Yes,
taken up by the legislature as
Okay.
well as the lawmaking body.
And that's why Chris Lyons has met multiple times with the governor, just to make sure that if he does raise any issues,
Right.
while we still have a chance to amend it, we can go ahead and work with
Exactly.
our
So it's nothing will
sponsor
be
to do
news to
so.
him.
To be clear, he's met with the staff.
The staff.
The governor's staff.
Governor staff, yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Scott. Yep. Good job, good work. Item 10, authority board member requests. Any board members, anything we missed, any comments? Additions, complaints, we're looking for anything, okay, all good. Public comments, do we have any other comment cards? Okay, none, and Claire, is there any other business to come before the board?
None from staff.
Okay. All right, then our next meeting is set for May 17th, 2023 at 5 p.m. During the meeting, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
No move.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous.
I'll let them-
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Good meeting.
It's been a lot of-